So hello everyone. Welcome or welcome back to my very small YouTube channel about knitting. My name is Isabelle. I am in France. I have 3 sons and I have 3 cats. So I've said it's related. And I'm filming these videos in English because I miss my English so very much. I used to live in the United States, but that was over 30 years ago. And my talking English is mostly gone, so this is my opportunity to be practicing my talking English at least once a week when I record these videos. So today it's going to be a video about my yarn no buy year, the January checking, and you may notice that my baby cat is impatiently scratching at the door, so I'm going to just pause right now to open the door or the window to him. Okay, I opened the door to him and he's in, and I've been recording that over and over again at least 3 times because he usually is a very polite and very discreet cat. We never hear him. I never hear him. He never asks for anything. When the other ones claim a spot or whatever, he moves away. And so I was thinking you don't see much of him. So I took a picture for me to place at the end of the video. And he's been coming in front of the camera at least for 5 or 10 minutes now. So he's sitting right next to me. I hope it's gonna be okay. Anyway, so you may see some changes in the video, the setup and the video, maybe the video quality, I do not know. Because I'm recording this video from my telephone, my iPhone. I used to record from my iPad. My iPad is aging. It has some kind of events or things that made me think he's gonna be giving up soon. So I need to test the recording with my telephone because I got a new telephone, a new iPhone at the end of last year. I reported on my adventure at the time, and the camera is supposed to be much better, and most of all the rear camera, not the front camera. I used to record with my iPad with the front camera, so I would watch myself, or I would see myself in a distance on the iPad screen. And also my right would be on the same side of the what I was watching. So now I'm testing out, so you will have to tell me how it's going, if it's more fluid or better quality or not at all, and if there is no change. There is a change of the angle because the quality of the camera is not the same, and I could not set it up as it was with the iPad, so be it. And so you will have to tell me if the recording is fine. So there are several things that are changing for me. For one, as I'm recording with the back camera of the telephone, which is the better camera, I don't have myself in front of me in my in the area, the general area I'm looking at to see if everything is okay. And I usually try to have my eyes towards the camera itself and not what I see on the screen. I don't like when people do that, when they look elsewhere, when they or all the time. I don't mind people, looking at something at some point to be precise, or some notes, or even themselves. That I don't mind. But when they spend the whole video looking elsewhere and not talking to me, I kind of, it irritates me. I'm not saying anything that other than that. You do you. If you like it, or if you do that way, fine, perfectly fine. Fine with me and good for you. But this is something I don't like much. So one, if I watch at the camera, I see the back of my phone. So I have no real way to see what I'm doing when I'm recording. So I have myself here. I have the footage that plays on my computer, because I am recording on the computer. Before I was recording on the iPad, but I am recording on the computer with the iPhone camera, which is supposed to be good. So I can see myself on the computer. So if I look down, either I'm going to be checking on myself, or I'm going to be reading my notes. I hope you don't mind. I hope it's going to be quite fluid to you, and that the video quality is going to be the way it used to be, at least not worse than what it used to be. And I have to say that at some point I look at an old footage because I was looking for something and I could not recall when I had said that, and I did not have it in my notes. Yeah. So, and I realized that the video quality on YouTube was not very good, and the transitions and things were not good at all. They were quite choppy, and I did not like the quality of the video. So I usually don't watch myself once I've uploaded the video. I see enough of myself when I edit, and that's plenty. That's way too much. So I don't watch my videos again. I don't keep the files on my computers. I don't see any use of keeping terabytes of recording of me talking about knitting. So yeah, all of that, the fact that my iPad is on dying, somewhat dying, the fact that I had noticed the video quality was not very good on YouTube, you prompted me to try this new setup. So we'll see how it goes. You'll have to tell me if the video quality is good enough, and if anything has changed other than the frame. You were used to see myself, and I'm playing with the sun today because for once, for a few hours, we've had sun. We haven't had any sun for weeks. We had cold weather, we had rain and rain and rain. It snowed a bit, and it rained again, and it rained again, and it was gray. The sky was very low and gray. This is what I don't like in Normandy. Today we have sun. Good, but it's playing with the setup, because when the sun goes into the camera, which is here, it throws all the light off, and yeah, I may have to find some other time in the day to be filming when the sun is not directed at the camera. Anyway, so today a video about my yarn no buy year. It's going to be a long introduction. I usually do not do that, and I'm going to move next to what I am wearing. So what am I wearing? I am wearing my Saturday shrug that I finished on the 21st. We are on the 30th. No, I started on the 21st. I finished on the 25th. We are on the 30th as I record that. So it's way ahead. I have very difficult week, so whatever. So this is my Saturday shrug that I knit with the mohair. The leftover mohair I had from the farm, from the Pyrenees. The green and the blue I haven't used yet. The pink here I have to get used, because yeah, here or that way, because it's reversed. My left is on the right and my right is on the left of the screen. So here it comes again. And so the pink and the yellow, the pink I have used about everything, every bit. And the yellow I still have quite a few skeins that are left after I finished my Laurenson sweater and is eating my papers. So yeah, these are mohair from the Pyrenees, not the correct gauge from the recipe that Jackie Rose, who's half of the very famous Cadillac Knits podcast or YouTube channel and Instagram and all the events that happen in on the American continent. And so she's released more of a recipe than a real pattern, or maybe now it's a real pattern. And so I casted on more stitches than I've talked about it last week, I think. Than what the pattern was recommending. I adjusted the width of the stripes, and I moved on, and here it is. So as I said last week, very, very, very loud and bright colors that are not like me at all. And onyx is coming, so I'm going to have to interrupt again. So I'm not sure, I think I have lost my train of thoughts, but very loud colors for me. And you see, I wore it at work today. It's a bit chilly even though we have sun, so I have a heavier t-shirt underneath. I have my formal jacket. A formal jacket, so I would not wear this shrug the way it is right now with very loud colors with some of my striped, or I have a checkerboard jacket, not with a jacket with a busy pattern, but most of my jackets are blue, either plain blue or very small stripes. So with the plain blue jackets, I guess I have a couple of them. It's going, it fits it very well, even, with this more formal wear. And my colleagues, as I said to someone who's commenting on the previous video, my colleagues have asked me where I bought the shrug, and so I told them that I made it, and I showed them where the recipe or the pattern was. Okay, so that's what I am wearing today. Okay, so my yarn no buy year and the first checking in 2023. So my January checking, I have bought one item. I'm sure you can guess which one it is. I pre-ordered the La Bien-Aimé's book, which is Neon and Neutrals. So I pre-ordered it. Let me take my email. When was that? When it came out. So on January 19th. So there was a small boo-boo. When I ordered, I was quite surprised that the taxes were 20%, because usually for books, taxes are a bit less. So at least in France, it's around 5%. So, but I did not say anything because, I'm not on top of the law, and it may have changed. Although I would have, I think I would have known if it had changed. But anyway, I was just thinking, okay, 20% for tax. Okay, fine. So I pre-ordered, the date came out. It was €45.48. And a few minutes or half hour after I had placed my order, I got a refund notification because they said that the taxes were wrong on the site. So Onyx is coming right now once again, and they refunded me €5.77. So the grand total for this book is €39.71. That includes shipping and everything. And Neons and Neutrals is not much of my own color realm, but one thing that I did appreciate a lot when she talked about the book, playing with my phone cover. So I should not leave anything on the table. I guess you know that if you have cats or children, it's about the same. Was that, of course, you can play with the colors that are more suitable to you. I don't wear neons. Who am I saying with these bright pink and bright yellow, neon yellow stripes on myself? Yeah, but it's not my usual color range for my wardrobe. And but you can adjust. Color work is color work, whether you, okay, here he is, whether you he's distracting me. Color work is color work. You can choose whichever colors that please you. If the neon and neutral is not your own game, and it's not, most probably not mine, you can choose whichever colors suit you. So that's one point. But one other point that I really liked and interested me a lot is that she said the patterns were also playing with yarn weights, and that's within the same pattern. And that is something I have been doing for quite a while now, is using different yarn weights in a garment or an accessory. And it was just in the back of my mind. I had not done much more than that. And the fact that I will have patterns right away that are playing with yarn weights on the same pattern, you know, some kind of background and color work with a different weight of yarn, that I think it's very interesting. So I think what decided me was, it was one book from La Bien-Aimée, and I had said I was going to get it and buy it, and so I did, because I enjoy her previous book, Worsted, very much. I haven't knit anything from it, just to have it, to look at it and browse through it and get inspiration and get ideas and get daydream quality time. So that's okay. I was going to get it, but the fact that there is that point with different yarn weights, I thought it was extremely interesting. That's what I got from all the pictures and all the Instagram posts that you may have seen. There were, the day she announced the pre-order was open, there were, I don't know, 20 more posts on Instagram. She posted, each of the designers posted after that. Yeah, many pictures you've already seen. I looked just before I record on Ravelry or Len Magazine or on her own website. There are no pictures that are there for every pattern. But on Instagram, if you browse through them, and I'll find a few ones, you know, to place here and there when I'm talking. On Instagram, you can, I guess you can see all the 16 of them. I think there are 16 patterns. Where is my? I'll have to see. I think there are 16 patterns. Let me check if I can find my page again. What does she say? Anyway, okay. I will write it on the screen so that I can be more precise. I don't have it for 13 patterns. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, neons and neutrals. I pre-ordered it on the day the pre-orders were open, and it's going to be released. It's going to be shipping on March 3rd. So when she will be in Passage Choiseul, she will have a pop-up store in Paris at around that time. She will be able to place, so she said she would place cards, signed cards in the book if you order from her shop. Maybe, I do not recall if she said she would sign the books on site in her pop-up store or not. I guess she said that, but I will write again down the video if I'm mistaken. Okay, so 1 month, a bit over 1 month now, and we all will be able to have it if you pre-ordered it. Please tell me if you pre-ordered it or if you have the intention to buy the book. Okay, so one additional thing I want to be talking about today about my Nova year is that I calculated my 2022 expense for each category I had made for myself as the year went along. So I have patterns, of course, online patterns. I have books, I have yarn, and I have what I've called objects or accessories, namely the ball winder and the Swift I got, several other things. And so if I look at my yearly expense, so the whole year was 1,478 euros and 44 cents last year. If I look at the patterns, online patterns, digital online patterns, notebooks, it's I spent 234 euros and 56 cents. Over 200 euros for the whole year. And books, 190 euros and 92 cents. I spent more on books. I'm all wrong. I spent more on online patterns than on books. If you had asked me at the beginning of this project last year if I was going to buy more books or more online patterns and where I could buy less, I would have said books, because I don't restrain myself when it comes to buying books. So yeah, I was most probably I would have said I have to be careful about buying books, and in my own guidelines I had a rule about books, so that only buy once a month, because I knew I was tempted to buy books. Online patterns, I had said, okay, I'm going to support the designer if there is an offer and a discount because of their birthday or whatever. I can support the designer and get the patterns. I think these got more out of hand without me noticing than the books themselves, because before I calculate by each category, I would not even have said I had spent more on online patterns than on books. So that's one thing. So that's about 45 euros more for a year on online patterns than on books. Of course, my main expense for 860 euros and 2 cents was on yarn. Once again, maybe I should be careful about when I buy yarn in person, but also when you see the beautiful mohair colorwork sweater, the Agnes jumper that I'm knitting right now, do I regret spending that much on the mohair? No, not at all. When I see my own leftovers I made this wrap with or shrug with, and I know I want to knit most probably with the green mohair next, and I know I have one sweater quantity for the blue too. Do I regret having that in my stash for a couple years? No, not at all. So yeah, I need to be careful buying yarn in person and not overcompensate, because I think I did that a bit overcompensate for not buying yarn at all at any other moment. You know, whenever you say, well, I can't eat that, or I can do this, or I can't do that, and at some point your little fingers get into the thing you said you were not going to say, and then you go further and further and say, okay, let's go for it, and you overdo what you normal people do not overdo, because they do it a little bit whenever they want it, and I think that's what happened. So I have to be careful with that. But other than that, do I regret any of my yarn expenses last year? None of them. So yeah, but online patterns, as I had said, I have them sitting somewhere, and as many of you have said, yeah, online patterns can disappear. The designer can pull them out, and Ravelry could close down. Okay, every pattern I buy, I download on my machine. So what I have been doing, and let me find it. I may show it to you. I'm not sure you can see my favorites and my bundles. I made a bundle that I name, I don't even remember, Want to Make 23. So that's a bundle where I place patterns, either that are free or that paid for, but the free ones, I get them. The paid for ones, I do not buy them. I place them all in that bundle. And there are, after that, two possibilities. Either a month or 2 months or 3 months after that, when I revisit that bundle, or maybe I can see my bundle every month. If I see things that don't have to do anything in that bundle anymore, I don't recall why I placed them there, I not intend to make them or need them any longer, I will remove them. The ones I really want to be making, I will keep them and either buy them on the spot or buy them when I cast on. I think it's what I should do. Cast, buy the patterns when I'm ready to cast them on. The risk is that I will not be able to buy the pattern if the designer closed their store or if Ravelry went down. But I have many books, so even if that pattern I can't access it, maybe I have the equivalent somewhere. I'm sure I have the equivalent somewhere. So if I look at my bundle right now, I had the Saturday Shrug that I can remove, and maybe once if I record a bit of the screen, I will remove it or not. The Rumble Jumper, I still want to make it. And maybe adjust the width of the sleeves if that doesn't modify the look of the pattern too much. And I have several, I think I have I have only one, but I'm looking for a slipover or for a vest. I'm not sure, depends on how you call them. So I have the Pousse Café, which I liked quite a bit. I have a few sweaters or cardigan. I have Auntie, it's a shawl by Monstruc Knits, a beanie, and a few sweaters. So far I have, if I take out the Saturday Shrug that I made, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 patterns that are in my want to make list. I have a couple t-shirts, the Daiquiri cardigan I like very, 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 very much. It may be quite high on my list, and yes, I'm gonna be showing all the patterns to you. Maybe I have recorded, you have already seen the recording anyway for today. And what I intend to do is maybe every other month or every 3 months, go through that list and weed it out, and or maybe keep everything if this is, I want to keep everything. But that's one way for me to place that will to buy something in a waiting list that is not gone away, because so many patterns are published all the time, and we have, we are bombarded with the new and the new and the new and the new. So that's one way for me to keep aside new things, or new to me, maybe not new, completely new, but maybe new to me. New patterns that I like and that I would be willing to knit, that I may have yarn for, or patterns that I'm looking for because I want to use some of my stash, but I'm not quite sure what I want to be making with it, but I want to use that one precisely. So, and then after a few months, revisit that list and see what I keep, what I remove from the list, and it goes back into a rather big bulk of things that we have no idea of, all the things that are there, or I buy them because I want to cast on right away. So I guess we'll see how this goes, and if it eases me with that urgent feeling of I want, or that, I'm not sure I recall the word, I'm looking for that word for, it's sort of a proxy, you see. I say, okay, I don't buy yarn, so my justification is I want to help the designer and support the designer, which is good. And so I buy the patterns. And at the end of the year, my second most expensive category was online patterns. So yeah, maybe I have to think about that and see what I can do. Maybe we can share what you are doing with your online patterns. In between the I want to help the designer, I don't want to be missing on a pattern that may not be available any longer. And I don't want to spend right now, and I don't want to cast on right now, and maybe 3 months from now I won't remember why I placed the pattern in that list. So that's what I want to be experimenting with online patterns. Maybe 3 months the list is gonna be too long, and I may have to do that every month or every other month. We'll see how it goes. But yes, that are my plans for this category that I think of expenses that I think got a bit out of hand last year. So okay, that's gonna be it for today. We are on a Monday. The video will be live on next Friday, the way it usually goes. My week is a bit complicated, so that's why I had time to record right now. So, and we are at the end of the month. I'm not supposed to be buying anything more, so I said, okay, let me record the video. I will have time to edit, and if this new setting is not working for me, I will have maybe time to film it again with my iPad, and maybe have to find some other way to be recording, or maybe use the front camera from my telephone. I'm not sure. Anyway, I got that phone that was expensive because of the camera. So yeah, I have to decide what I'm going to be doing. In the meantime, and before I spend some time evaluating if the footage is worth editing and putting up next Friday, in the meantime, I hope you can find joy and happiness watching these videos, with your projects. The situation hasn't evolved since with my mother since last week. So I'm it's all the same. It's all the same, and I'm wearing these bright colors because this is what I need. I need that to be comforting. It's warm, it's bright, it's loud, and yeah, this is what I need right now. And I have to say that many of you commenting on the video really brought me a lot of joy and happiness. Seeing that people are there that listen to me and understand what I'm going through, because most probably you have been or you are going through similar times. That brought me lots of comfort, and I thank you for that so very much. And I do hope you can find and manage to find joy and happiness in your life, because it's not going to come all by itself. We do have to actively work on finding these little sparks of joy and happiness and sun and sunshine and light in the dark times we may be living in, and hang on to these and nurture them, so that when you go or we go to bed, this is what we go to bed with, and not all the dark and the dark clouds that are going round and round and round, and that darken our day, that darken our thoughts, that darken our sight and our mood. And yeah, hang on to these, and I'm talking to myself, hang on to these little sparks of joy and happiness. And I thank you for spending that time with me. I don't see how long it's been, you know, that's one of the other differences from my previous setup. So I thank you very much for spending that time with me. And I hope you have a very nice week. I hope you're gonna have a nice knitting time. And I will see you next time.